Hello, welcome to the Capless Conversations podcast, where I interview astounding people about figuring life out, made for Gen Zs. In this episode, I will be interviewing Vanny Thio, the founder and owner of Lou Patisserie, and we will be exploring on how she handled the challenges of unemployment and created her own business in her early 20s. Hi, Vanny, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm good. How are you, Nicole?
I'm also good. So, why don't you introduce yourself to the
Okay,
audience?
okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Vanny. I am the owner of Patisserie right now, and I graduated from NUS with a major in business administration.
So, you studied at NUS. What did university not prepare you for life after uni?
Hmm. I think a lot. I think a lot of things. I feel like university is mostly theory based. Meanwhile, real life, you have to like implement
Mm.
everything you learned. So back in the US, I took business administration, and it was everything from operations, marketing, accounting, finance, literally everything you need to know in a business. But they didn't specifically teach me how to like apply it into real life situations. I had to basically figure that out myself when I started running Loop. So that was number one. But number two, I think university does not prepare me for financial literacy.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important when you're an adult, right? And you have to manage your own finances. You have to you have expenses now. You don't live under your parents' roof anymore, you know. You take care of your own maybe you have your own house, you have rent, you have other costs to take care of. So I think those are the two things that I think university does not prepare you.
How did you end up like developing your financial literacy?
Hmm. I think I learned a lot from my friends and mostly from my boyfriend as well, because I think he's definitely better at financial literacy than me. And I'm currently still learning as well, but mostly from YouTube. I watch a lot of podcasts. I'm pretty sure we talked about this before. I
Diary
watch
of
a
a
lot of
CEO.
Diary of a CEO, yeah. Jay Shetty as well. You know Jay Shetty?
Sounds so familiar, right?
He's also on YouTube, like similar to Diary of a CEO. Yeah, so I watch a lot from that and just like YouTube tutorials. I think there's a lot, yeah, a
You
lot of
read
videos.
books related to finance.
Okay, here's one thing about me. I'm really bad at reading books. I'm gonna be really honest. I'm really bad at reading books, and that's something I'm trying to work on and improve on. So currently, no, I haven't read any books on finance. I mostly process information better through visual or audio. So I normally watch.
So, did you feel like a certain pressure to follow a path
Mhm.
like after uni? Because usually people who take business administration would be working in firms. People taking finance would
Yeah,
be in an investment
yeah.
banker. So how do you handle that pressure?
Hmm. I definitely did not plan to become an entrepreneur like this early on in my life. Originally, I wanted to work corporate maybe 3 to 5 years after I graduated. And then from then, I was planning to start my own business.
Mm.
But then I graduated at the end of 2022. So it was at the end of COVID. Getting a job back then was tough.
Yeah.
And I was in Singapore, and my basically immigration status wasn't really the best as well because I was an international student. So it was harder, much harder for me to get a job compared to local Singaporeans, let's say. But yeah, so I did feel certain pressure, especially from my parents' expectations as well. Typical parents, you know, it's
Yeah.
like you already went to university, you need to get a high-paying job, you know, at a really good firm, multinational company,
Yeah.
etc. It's typical Asian parents. So I really did I feel a lot of pressure, but I'm really the type of person who just goes with the flow. That's something I think a lot of people can say about me. Even though things get tough, I don't really sweat too much about it. I normally think, okay, what can I do now going forward? So instead of kind of going into a slump, which I did, of course, like well,
Who
what
wouldn't?
could I do? Who wouldn't, right? I didn't get a job, but I decided to pivot and kind of view my life objectively. Like, okay, what can I do now? So I started looking for internships. I still applied for jobs. and I decided to go back home from Singapore. And I went back, and I'm still very grateful and I'm still very privileged to have my parents offer me to work for them and help them for a while.
So, looking back, were there any moments in university that kind of signaled you that you were going to be an entrepreneur?
Hmm. Very good question. I never thought about that before. Um, I think in high school and university, maybe there were like some hints. In high school, I was really into like leadership positions, and I created my own music club, Timber.
Timber?
Yes.
You created Timber?
Yes, yes, I created
I thought it was
Timber.
people like from way back.
No. Oh my god, does that mean I'm old? I'm kidding. Yeah, yeah, I created Timber. I think it was when I was in grade 10. So that was 2015, I think. Yeah, damn, 10 years ago. Damn, a kid ago. Yeah. Back in 2015, yeah, I created Timber, and I was like the founder and president of that. And I was also interested in nonprofit organizations.
HFH.
Yes, Habitat for Humanity, and I was co-president for that with my friend. So in high school, it was more leadership position. It wasn't really like business is about like selling goods and gaining profit, etc. It wasn't really much about that. Not until university. In NUS, there's this club called Social Impact Catalyst.
Okay.
It's actually like a worldwide club. So if you get to university and if you see that club, it's a really good club. So it's basically a club that helps you create your own startup. And if your startup is good enough, they'll help you find funding from investors.
So multiple universities around the world.
Yes, yes, multiple universities. Social Impact Catalyst. Yeah. So I joined that club, and I created my own startup. Back then, it was called Bridge.
Bridge.
It was a platform meant to connect tutors and students online, because in Singapore there are so many like Singaporean culture is very kiasu, right? It's all about like academics and performing your best,
Crying while
etc.
doing math.
Yeah. You cry, doesn't matter as long as you get A. It's mostly like that, right? So the main issue was that there were a lot of students that couldn't afford tutoring, and students that can afford tutors are like middle to high income. Meanwhile, the low to middle income, it's really expensive. It's like $50 an hour, possibly. Yeah, so I created that startup. I think that was the biggest kind of hint that I might become an entrepreneur someday, because I did that out of my own free will. And it was something that I was actually very interested
So can you walk us through how you felt when you couldn't find a job after uni?
in. I mean, I felt very depressed, disappointed. I felt very sad. I was in a slump. I mean, who wouldn't, right? I spent about 4 to 5 months trying to find a job. Yeah, but I landed a couple interviews. None of them were successful though. So both in Singapore and Indonesia, actually, I did that. So I felt, of course, who wouldn't feel shitty, right? Can I? Oh, sorry. Can I swear?
You're allowed to swear.
Okay. Yeah, who wouldn't feel shitty? I mean, I tried my best to find a job, but I couldn't. But as I mentioned before, I'm the type of person who just goes with the flow. If I couldn't find a job, okay, then I kind of reworked myself around that and thought to myself, what did I do wrong? Like, is it my resume? I went back and fixed my resume. Is it like the way I answer questions in interviews? I went back and I practiced with my friends, and like how, like, let's say you're the interviewer and I'll be like, okay, so like ask me some questions and then I'll practice. Um, Even though I did all of those things, I still didn't get a job. But I, like I said, I didn't give up. I tried to find other solutions. So it's like, okay, it's either, for me back then, it was either stay in Singapore, very high living cost. Yeah. And try to find a job. I don't know, for an uncertain amount of time, or go back home to Indonesia and find a job in Indonesia with lower living costs because, like I said, I'm so grateful I have my parents supporting me, right? Yeah, so I eventually ended up making the choice of going back home, and yeah, I was presented with another opportunity.
So how did you start? How did you decide to start Lou with your sister and like stop for the job search?
I think it was just perfect timing. So my sister is an extremely talented chef that like I'm 100% confident about. She studied at Le Cordon Bleu Paris. She worked there for about 1 to 2 years, I think, as a chef. And at the end of 2022, she decided to come back home. Again,
That's so convenient.
yeah, high living cost. Her salary with her living costs, it just didn't make sense. So she decided, okay, rather than just living paycheck to paycheck, might as well go back home, try to find other opportunities that, can open, newer path for her. Yeah, so she went back home at the end of 2022. I was still helping out my parents' business back then. My dad was actually the one who came up with the idea that we're two sisters. We should start a business together. His reasoning was that our skills complement each other very well. So my sister and I discussed. We were like, okay, I mean, I can't bake, like sure I can, but like not, products worth selling. That's for sure. Yeah. So we discussed about it, and she was like, oh, there's this in France. Cakes are not like Indonesian kind of Korean cakes. It was mostly like sponge, like buttercream cakes. And she was telling me all this stuff about in France, it's basically like mousse cake, mostly made out of milk and whipping cream. I was like, okay, interesting. Very interesting. So we believed in each other and we were like, okay, you know what? Let's go for it. Yeah, so that's how it all started.
You got nothing to lose, right?
And nothing to lose, exactly. No job, right? It's like, yeah, but one thing I want to say though is that I still am very privileged and I'm really, really grateful. Still incredibly grateful for my parents for that. Because even without them, I don't think I would have been able to start a business at my age right now,
Yeah.
fresh out of university. And I'm incredibly grateful for that.
So what were some fears and doubts that you had when starting Lou, and how did you overcome them?
I had a lot of fears and doubts. Because I mean, I didn't have any knowledge. I didn't have any experience in opening a business, especially F&B. It's really hard to open a restaurant. I think it's an industry that fluctuates a lot. So it's like you have to be flexible and adapt really well. But my number one fear was fear of failure. I was really, really scared I was going to fail within like the first 6 months.
But you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't, right? Now it's been going on for like almost 2 years.
And you have your second branch already.
Yeah, now we have our second branch at Alam Sutra. But in the beginning, I was really scared to fail. I doubted myself. Like I said, I was like, who am I? I don't have any experience in running a business. Running a business takes a lot. It's not only about like, okay, I have a cake, I sell it, you buy it.
Yeah.
It's not like that, right? I have a cake. How do I produce the cake? Even the production itself, it's very meticulous. I have the cake. I already produced the cake. How much should I sell the cake for? Then you need to calculate, right? It's like accounting. How much does it take to create one cake? And then how much profit do you want to get?
How can I minimize the cost?
Exactly. So it's like it's so many things at once, and I didn't have any experience. So, but despite of that, I'm also the type of person who doesn't back down from a challenge. I really like to challenge myself. I like to try new things a lot. So even though I was doubtful and I was very scared, I was like, okay, you know what? Got nothing to lose. As long as I do my best, I believe that I can make it.
So you were talking about as long as you do your best, you can make it. So that's kind of like a mindset, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of mindset helped you stay grounded and hopeful during moments of uncertainty? And was there a specific quote or person that helped you develop this kind of thinking?
Hmm. I don't think there's a person or like a quote that inspired me. I think I already have this kind of mindset since middle school.
Timber.
Since summer. Yeah, it's basically mm, everything happens for a reason. That's number one. And number two, I believe that things will always get better. So even if right now things are like shitty, right? Like for example, when I was unemployed out of university, things were really shitty. But I always believed that okay, I'm still going to try my best. This probably happens for a reason, and that reason being it created another opportunity for me and it led me to open Lou now. Back then I didn't think any of that. Like I couldn't have imagined about this.
Yeah.
But I still held on to that mindset that things will always get better. Because my belief is that if if your life is a graph, right? Like X and Y axis, right? If your life is a graph, these tiny moments of uncertainty and weaknesses in your day-to-day life, if you zoom out on your entire life graph, it's probably nothing but like a minor, like
Yeah.
not even a dot, you know? But your life is probably still going to be like an upward slope. So instead of focusing on the little things, focus on the bigger picture. Like, okay, what can I do? What is my goal? As long as I stay consistent to that, and on top of that, I think I'm quite a positive person. On top of that, yeah, I think it helped me a lot to get out of like moments of uncertainty and when I doubted myself the most.
It kind of reminded me of the business cycle. You know, when there's like the boom and then there's
Yes,
but
exactly.
like it'll always end up
Exactly.
increasing.
Your life is also like that. That's what I believe. Because yeah, like day to day, it may be like this, right? But when you zoom out, it's like so you really shouldn't sweat about like small mistakes along the way.
So, what habits and routines have helped you stay consistent into building Root?
Hmm. Very good question. I I think number one is that it's not habit. I think it's more of a mindset as well. It's to show up every day, no matter what.
I don't know. I had a feeling you would say that.
You got a feeling I would say that? How did you know? Can you read my mind?
And I was gonna say he's gonna say it just to show up.
Wait, how did you know I was gonna say that? I do believe it's really important though. I think a lot of business owners um, kind of believe that okay, if my business is already running, like it's already quite successful enough, then they leave it, right? They're like, okay, you manage it, and like I'll monitor it. That's honestly the end goal. But it's very important to show up every day. So I keep my personal and work life separate. So no matter what goes on in my personal life, even though I might be feeling down or demotivated or etc., I still show up to work every day. So now that we have two outlets, every day I still make the trip to visit both of
Both of
them.
them in the same day.
Yeah. So normally it's like morning I'm either at the Gading Sarapong branch, afternoon I'm here at Alam Sutra, or it's the other way around. So every day I show up, and the point is to monitor everything, right? Monitor my employees, whether my products are up to standard, maybe there are certain customers that I've met along the way just by visiting that can create opportunities for me. Yeah. So I believe that's the most important thing. So it's not really a habit or routine, but it's more of that mindset.
So, being an entrepreneur often like there's risks in being an entrepreneur, right? So, how did you stay motivated and centered with when the path you're taking seems super risky and you just don't know what's gonna happen like in the next, let's say, week or month?
Right. Yeah, becoming an entrepreneur is definitely not easy because every step you take is most likely a risk. It's never becoming an entrepreneur, it's never like a set path for you, right? You have to create your own path by analyzing like what's going on around you, the market, right, your product, the industry, and then you have to decide. and your decision needs to come quick. You can't like be slow. If you're slow, then others will probably catch up to you, and be better than you. But I think number one is that. Wait, sorry. What was your question again? Like how about
So
risk?
how did you stay like centered in your path
Mhm.
even when there's like so many risks?
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it's really important to have a good vision. Me and my sister, we both have the same vision for Lou, and probably I'll just leak it. It's we want to be one of the top players in the F&B industry in Indonesia.
But this is your vision or Lou's vision?
Lou's vision.
I see.
So it's me and my sister. We both have that vision from even before we opened the first outlet. We discussed, like we're not gonna be opening just one cafe. We're not gonna be opening just two cafes. We're going to build Lou into kind of not really an empire. I feel like that's very cheeky, but it's more of like a really big company that houses a lot of brands. So yeah, so it's not in the future. It's not going to only be Lou. Hopefully, it's probably gonna be like another restaurant or another cafe, etc.
Like the group that's the logo is a B. I forgot what's it called.
Boga.
Yeah, I think so.
Boga
Yeah.
Group.
Like that.
Yeah, there are so many groups right now in Indonesia. Boga Group, Ismaya Group, Floor, not Flores, but Ismaya. Union.
Yeah.
Union Group.
Rembolan also, right?
Hero Group. Yeah, Rambulan also has its own group.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of competition.
So you want to be like a group?
Yes, I want to be as big and as successful as them. It's still a long way to go. But going back to the question that you asked is, even though there's so many uncertainty and I'm taking risk every single day, as long as I stay true to my vision and I focus on my end goal, it's fine. Everything will work out fine. As long as you don't lose track of your goal. If you lose track of your goal, then you don't really know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I taking these like risks for? What are they even for? Like, okay, I already took them, and then now what do I do? A lot of people, I feel like, are confused about that. But as long as you have that goal in mind, you'll be fine.
I kind of feel like this is also kind of similar to like life itself.
Yeah.
As if like if someone doesn't have like a sense of purpose, like they kind of don't know what they're doing. So,
yeah, I agree.
How similar do you think business is to life?
Ooh. 80%?
80%.
80% similarity. A lot of it has to do with you need to be flexible and you need to be quick on your feet, right? You have to make split second decisions sometimes, but sometimes you have to make long term goals. And then on top of that, you have to manage people. You have to learn how to connect with people, not only emotionally, but also learn about their own personalities, etc. You have to go out of your comfort zone. You have to challenge yourself every day. Life is never certain, right? And it's the same thing with business. In life, you have to create your own path. You choose your life every day, and that's the same thing in business. You choose what to make out of your business every single day. So that's why I say it's probably 80% similar in my opinion. The 20% is because, well, life you don't really chase profit and money, right?
That's true.
But in business you have to do that. Yeah.
So for Gen Zs who are facing unemployment or just feeling stuck, where's a good place to start if they want to start exploring like the entrepreneurial scene or creating something of their own?
I think it's a really good place to start from your hobby. So if you have a certain hobby, maybe it's like, I don't know, like making cute keychains or something out of clay. This is literally just something that I thought of. It's an example, right? You can you can take that hobby and create a business out of it, right? You can sell it. You can sell like personalized keychains, maybe. You don't really need a lot of capital or investment in the first place, right? I mean, social media is really very useful right now. You can open an online shop on Instagram, on Shopee, on Tokopedia with minimal cost. Yeah, so I suggest you should start from your hobby. Find out what it is that you're very interested in and figure out whether you can actually capitalize on that and use that to create your own business.
What if you're someone who can't create like these kind of things?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like you have no creative talent, or you just can't create something tangible.
It doesn't have to be a good, like goods and services, right? It doesn't have to be like goods. It can be services. Maybe you're not as creative, but maybe you're really good at data analysis, right? Nowadays, people need
Yeah.
data experts in data analytics. So maybe if you're good at data analytics, you can start. Do you know this website called Fiverr? So there's this kind of like freelancer website,
Mhm.
Fiverr, Fiverr. If you want to start something, you can start there. You can open your services and sell them to people who needs it.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you're good at data analytics, put yourself out there, create some kind of portfolio to start. People will find you, and then you can make something out of that.
nice. So, what do you think holds most young people back from starting a business or a project?
Hmm. I think it should be it's probably fear of failure.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, because that's what I felt.
Yeah.
That's what I felt. I was fresh out of uni. I was 22 years old. Didn't know anything about the world or life or business. Um, Number one is fear of failing, because a lot of people think I've put so much of my time and so many investments into this business. What if I fail?
Mm,
What if I fail and I lose it all? I think that's number one, right? And then people get scared because of that, because it's kind of like a high risk, high reward
yeah.
situation, right? People get scared because of that and then they back off. And then number two, because we're talking mostly about young people, I think it's also because monetary issues, right?
Yeah.
When you're young, you don't really have a lot of capital, you don't have a lot of savings to start a business. So you're basically left with very limited choices. That on top of your fear of failure, probably like, you know,
Like
it
I'd rather
scares you even more.
I'd rather just go on the safe path.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, which is very normal, it's very understandable.
I guess that's what differentiates like entrepreneurs and professionals.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So when starting a business, do you think passion is more important than like discipline, or do you think it's the other way around?
Passion and discipline, they're not really like opposites of one another. Do you
Well, they
think?
can go together.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we definitely need both. You can't only run a business with only passion. Let's say I run Lou with only passion, my sister's passion of creating pastry, right? But there's no discipline. If I don't have discipline, I can't create a system. I can't create a structure for my business to run on.
USP. Wait,
US,
no, not USP.
what is that?
This operation procedure thing that you were talking
Yes,
about.
SOP,
SO.
standard operating procedures.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a system, right? So if I don't have discipline, if I myself only run on passion, I don't notice little things that make a business like that basically accelerates the growth of a business. But if I only run, let's do vice versa. If I only run on discipline and I don't have passion, then I don't think I have that vision. Where do I
Mm,
want to grow my business?
yeah.
Where is my end goal? And at the end of the day, I'll lose track of what I'm actually doing. What am I doing again? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? I have no passion in this. Why am I still working my ass off for nothing? Right? So I think passion and discipline complement each other very well. And you definitely should have a balance of both to run a business really well.
So, were there any tools such as books, apps, or mentors that really helped you early on in your startup?
Hmm. think, like I said before, I'm really bad at reading books. That's something I'm working on. So I didn't read any books. I mostly watch YouTube videos. I Google things myself. Apart from that, I do have one mentor that I'm really grateful for, and that's my dad. Even though he has no experience in the F&B industry, he does have his own business, and he really helped me a lot in developing basic knowledge on how to run a business. Just the basic knowledge. It's basically like the push for me to start, and from then on, I figured it out as I go. I learn best when I do things.
Yeah.
So I'm more like practical instead of theoretical. So, I just put myself out there, face challenges, and I figured it out myself. And from that, I learned. Sure, it takes me a lot of time compared to maybe if I did have a mentor that can help me right from the beginning. But yeah, that's how I learned.
So, what was one unexpected skill or mindset that you developed as you were building Lou?
Hmm. I think there are a lot. To be really honest, I've learned so much from these past 2 years building Lou, and that goes from not only accounting and finance, all the way to how to communicate and connect with
Mm,
other people. And what I'm talking about is my employees. So, everyone is different, right? No human is the same.
yeah.
But when you manage a team, I currently manage 40 employees for 2 outlets. That includes my kitchen team, pastry team, my service staff as well. I learn a lot about people. They have so People have so many personalities, like different personalities. And for each person, it's so different. You need, like, for example, I can't talk to Nicole the way I talk to another person because then that person might perceive things differently. And they might, be more sensitive to stuff. Maybe they might be more hard headed. So then I'll have to be even tougher on them.
Mm,
I think it's a really useful skill to have, not only to manage a team, but also to network.
mm,
Because a lot about businesses, becoming an entrepreneur is you have to network with a lot of people. That's how you create new opportunities and expand your business,
yeah.
basically. It helped me a lot in picking up kind of verbal and maybe visual cues when I'm talking to a person, when I'm communicating, that allowed me to, like, okay, I know what this person is thinking.
Yeah.
I know what this person is gonna say, or like, oh, I know what they're feeling right now. I should probably lighten up the mood, or like, oh, I should probably say this. I think it's really helpful because humans communicate, we connect with each
Yeah.
other, and that's how we grow together, right?
So last but not least, what advice would you give to your younger self or someone who's just fresh out of university or someone who's just scared of not having everything figured out?
I'm 24 and I haven't had it all figured out. That I can say with 100% confidence, and that's completely okay. I was also, if you're scared of not having it all figured out, I was also like that. Vanny 5 years ago also felt like that. But the Vanny now can say that it's completely okay. No one has it all figured out. Even when you're like 40s or 50s, they don't know everything about life, right? Life is uncertain. It's never meant to be certain. So it's okay to not figure it all out as long as you know where you're going. Have a purpose. You mentioned it before, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't. What should you do if you don't have a purpose? Exactly. So have a purpose. Have a goal for yourself, and then focus on that. Don't focus on other people. Everyone's journeys are so different. You
Yeah.
can't compare. Like, I can compare myself to Nicole. Nicole, you can't compare yourself to me. I can compare myself to other people as well. We're all different in our own way. Just stay true to yourself and focus on your own goal. And if you do that, I'm pretty sure you'll end up very successful at the
Thank you for your time.
end. You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview.
Of course. Thank you, Nicole.